No, this is fine. If I sit there, then the light will come to my lady. Huh?
We can swap the chairs.
Those chairs are more comfortable.
These are more comfortable.
I like
these.
Yeah.
These just sit a little bit higher
Yeah.
up and they're more soft.
Oh, you're sitting on something.
Yes, I like them. The old dining room. I see. Must be inspired. This very famous painting, I think. The picnic or something. Who was the original painter?
Oh, was it Monet or something that did that one?
Yeah, it was French impressionist.
French impressionist. I don't know if I'm right
I don't know
about
which
that.
one. Sarah?
Cézanne? Yeah, maybe so.
Sarah?
Cézanne.
Or Cézanne?
Yeah.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah. I never thought about that before.
I never did
That
either.
Phyllis,
The picnic was taken
Yeah.
a photograph. Oh, picnic.
she took, should we tip this over so nobody sits in front of you? Okay.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
I normally always begin my talk with the most beautiful words of Jalaluddin Rumi. Jalaluddin Rumi was one of the greatest Sufi masters of his time and of all the time. And Jalaluddin Rumi had said, it is only till such time that ignorance prevails, one has recourse to words. When true knowledge dawns, there is total silence. And when the disciples and lovers of Jalaluddin Rumi asked him, Master, what do you exactly mean by true knowledge or infinite knowledge? And Jalaluddin Rumi smiled and said, true knowledge or infinite knowledge means not to know anything. Yes. And why is that? The reason behind that is that when, supposing by His grace, one of us now gets the true knowledge or infinite knowledge, what happens is that we become everything. Such an individual will not see this hall. He will not see the chairs, the tables. He would not see the people sitting around. He will see only himself everywhere. And basically I was a merchant marine for many years, and I had a few occasions, not few, but a good number of them, because Meher Baba would take care to see that because I'm away from him for 3 years and more, he would make sure that I was present all the time with him. And once in a while he would ask every one of us, single one of us, what do you see? And each one would say, I see my brothers, my sisters. And Baba in the end would say, that's the difference between you and me. I see myself everywhere. Now one of the activities of beloved Baba was to wash the feet of the poor people in India. I'm talking about the time 1940s, early mid to late 40s. That private road, you all have been to Meherabad, you have been to Meherabad, sir? No. Make sure you go there. Huh? Tomorrow is Sunday?
I will go on Sunday.
Sunday, good.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
Sunday.
So, there is that private road leading to Meherabad. And in the 40s, on either side of the road, there were poor farmers living. And when I say poor farmers, we have no idea whatsoever of the poverty they were living in. They had literally nothing at all. They had a hut which no self-respecting individual would ever say that this is a hut. They had nothing. And yet I am proud to declare one thing for my country. Such people always had a twinkle and a smile on their face. That mark of contentment that is there. One of the activities of beloved Baba was to call people from that level of society, bow down to them, and after bowing down, he would give them a prasad. Prasad means a gift from God. For a man, it was a shirt and a dhoti. Dhoti is a typical Indian wear. And for a lady, it was a blouse and a sari. And he would wash their feet, bow down to them. And by so doing, God raised the level of the existence of these poor people to a very marked level. Today when you go in on the private road, when the bus goes by, you will see cement concrete houses. As if that is not enough, there is a motorcycle waiting outside. As if that is not enough, there is a dish TV antenna. As if that is not enough, there are now goats and cows and animals and all. There is a very beautiful incident linked with this. On one occasion, again in the 40s, beloved Baba had called Louis van Gesteren. Louis van Gesteren was from Holland, and he was the first one to take beloved Baba's movie in 35mm, the regular movie size. Baba had invited him and his wife to stay at Meherabad for 1 month. Now, they were staying there. Louis van Gesteren loved beloved Baba completely, but his wife did not like India. And she was all the time thinking, when will all this end so that I can go back to my home? About 15 days were left for the departure when Baba held this program. And all the ladies were invited to observe what was going on. And beloved Baba washed their feet, bowed down to them, and gave them the gift of either a shirt and a dhoti or a blouse and a sari. This lady, the wife of Louis van Gesteren, was sitting next to beloved Baba's sister, Manija. They were about 40 meters away from beloved Baba. What I am trying to convey is that under no circumstances beloved Baba could have heard what was going on. This lady leans over to Mani and whispers in her ear, "He is a good man, he is a good man." Baba stopped his activity for a few seconds rather, looked straight at that lady and he said, "I am not a good man, I am the God man." And at that precise moment, she became a lover of God. This is how God works in His own creation. That is how it is done. Beloved Baba would always emphasize that nothing comes in this world except God. And many times beloved Baba has declared that I have come to establish a new humanity. On one occasion, my Baba lovers in Andhra Pradesh, South India, they had invited me there. And at the Baba gathering of brothers, sisters was there. And in Vijayawada, a big station there was this All India radio station, what we call Akashvani. The man running this place, he had heard about Meher Baba. So he requested Baba lovers that someone should come along and we would like to hear Mr. Kerawala speak on the radio. And the interview began. And the gentleman asked me, what is the difference between Sai Baba of Shirdi and Meher Baba of Ahmednagar? He wanted to know because he also was basically new to Meher Baba. Fortunately for me, my beloved helped me. I told him that Sai Baba of Shirdi was man becoming God, whereas Meher Baba of Ahmednagar was God who came as human being. And he liked that very much. Then the second question he had asked me was, what does he mean by new humanity? And I said to him, Meher Baba has taught us that we pay more attention to the world and literally no attention to God. That is not the right way. One should always pay attention, infinite attention to God and no attention to the world. Because after all, this world has no meaning whatsoever. And coming back to Jalaluddin Rumi, he has said the same thing. He has taught us the same thing, Jalaluddin Rumi. Sam, if you have everything but not him, then you have nothing. If you have nothing but you have him, then you have everything. And this is God. always full of love, compassion and mercy. Beloved Baba, in the very early years, would travel all over India and making contact with God-intoxicated people. And in some places, Baba would be staying for 1 month, 2 months, or even more. If it was a prolonged stay, beloved Baba would hire a bungalow, rent a bungalow. And in those days, it was very, very easy because there were enough vacant houses, and the house owners themselves were very happy if someone wanted to rent their house, because that way their property is being taken care of. And the rent in those days was 10 rupees a month. But 10 rupees was good money those days. So beloved Baba, whenever he was staying there, for good. Thank you. Then he would rent a house. And the routine was that in the evening, the dinner would be served at very early hour, about 5:30, 5:45 in the evening. And dinner was nothing else but a plain chapati and raw vegetables, like that. After the dinner was over, they would all sit together and, casual talk. Remember one thing, apparently it is a casual talk, but in reality, God is working all the time. There is a very beautiful Sufi parable linked with this casual talk. In a certain ashram was a man who was working as a cook in that ashram, in that resort. One day he approached his master and he said, "Master, supposing a child is destined to be a great master, does that child exhibit that infinite greatness that is inherent in him?" And the master said, "Yes." And the master said, "You are very lucky, because each morning from the next village, a young boy will pass by with a basket in his hand. He is destined to be the great master of the future. When he is going by, ask him, 'Where are you going?'" So he waited for that young boy, and sure enough, Daddy came swinging the basket. And he said to him, "Hey young man, where are you going?" And he said, "Wherever my feet carry me." The cook was totally lost by that answer. He went to his master and he said to him, "Master, this is what he told me. I don't understand." And the master said, "You fool, all you had to do was ask him, where would you go if you had no feet to carry you?" Oh. Next day again waited for him and asked him the same question. "Where are you going?" Remember, this child is destined to be a great master. And now there is a duel of words between one who is going to be infinite and one who is an idiot like me. So, again he asked him that same question, "Where are you going?" And he said, "Wherever the winds carry me." He went and told his master, "This is what he told me." "You bloody fool, I told you yesterday, all you have to do was ask him, where would you go if no wind was there to carry you?" And he said, "Now tomorrow I'll trap him." Now this is a war of words going on between the two of them. Remember, one is going to be infinite, the other one is an idiot. So, third day, the child is going back, and he asked him, "Where are you going?" And the child smiled and said, "I'm going to the market to buy vegetables." This is how it is done. Coming back to beloved Baba, this casual conversation that would go on, it so happened that one evening they were all sitting there after that meager dinner, when a gecko, the reason they remember this creature is that it was more than 12 inches long, real big one. And chick, 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 it went to the ceiling and dropped a piece of shit on beloved Baba's head. Those of you who have gone to Meherabad, you will see by the chair where we all bow down, there's a small table kept there. And on that table, there would always be stacks of handkerchiefs kept. The reason behind that was, beloved Baba would, once in a while, was pleased with someone, he would give their handkerchief as a remembrance of God. So he had that stack of hankies ready. He picked one of them, cleaned his forehead and discarded the hanky. Next evening, the same thing happened. Chick, 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 it went up the ceiling and again dropped a piece of shit on beloved Baba. Baba cleaned. Third day it happened. One of beloved Baba's disciples, Naja, who also happened to be Baba's cousin sister, became very angry and she decided, I'll kill this bloody thing. Every day he is dirtying my beloved's head. So she was sitting on a chair with a very long broom, a long handled broom that can reach the ceiling. Beloved Baba and all were sitting and beloved Baba acted as if he had not seen that long broom at all. Sure enough, it went up and Naja grabbed that broom and charged. And beloved Baba acted as if what was happening. What's happening? What's happening? Has she gone mad? What are you trying to do, Naja? Baba, I'm going to kill that gecko. For the last 3 days, she's been dropping shit on you. And Baba said, all I do is pick up a handkerchief and clean myself. And that's the end of the matter. Why do you want to kill this innocent thing? Well, now be good and sit down and put that broom down. And Baba made her sit down. And then this humor of God came in. Baba looked all around and said to all of them, this gecko is less pain in my neck than you all sitting here. Excuse me. We'll concentrate today more on our beloved because one of our brothers is totally new to our Baba. Let us go back to Meherabad. No, first we'll be here only. This place is Meherabad. And at my level, there is a village called Ahmednagar. And in that village, there was a family by the name of Patil. Now, Patil means the head of the village. And he was a very strong man, this Patil. One of his daughters is even today alive and renders service at the Samadhi. Patil was a very strong man, and in those days, the only way of entertaining each other was the strong man of one village would challenge the strong man of the other village to a bout of wrestling or whatever. And the village that won, the other village would give them a bag full of wheat or rice, because as I told you, they were very, very poor people. But it was this very poverty of our country that is our strength. And I would always like to be born here only. Anyway, so this Patil would, that bouts would be carried on and all that. Only problem was that he had a very severe backache. And in those days, medical knowledge was so very limited that the only medication they had was an aspirin for a headache. No one dared fool with the back. Beloved Baba was fully aware of the pain in the back that Patil had. And I'm trying to draw your attention to one fact. Here is a man who is a giant of a man, and there is our beloved Baba, lean and thin as a sugarcane stalk, because of fasting, seclusion and all that. 1921, Baba was still speaking. One day his glance of compassion fell on Patil. And he tells Patil, incidentally, let me tell you another thing. In Maharashtra, we have 2 types of milk. Cow's milk and buffalo milk. Now, buffalo milk is very rich in fat and very difficult to digest. So Baba tells Patil, this buffalo milk, I can't digest. Even if I have little of it, I can lose motion. I'm told you own a cow. And he said, yes, Baba, I do. Then why not get me some cow's milk from tomorrow? And he said, yes, Baba, I'll get it. But there is only one problem to that. My animal gives only 1 cup of milk every day. And Baba said, I never told you to bring me a pail full of milk. 1 cup is enough. Do only one thing, whatever milk the animal gives, bring all of it to me. Don't keep anything at home. He said, yes, Baba. Next day, between God and the animal, the cow gave more than 2.5 liters of milk. He came with a pail full of milk. Baba was sitting on his bed here in Meherabad. And he said, Patil, what is this? He said, Baba, you asked for milk. You told me it's only 1 cup. He said, Baba, I do not know what happened. But today the animal gave more than 2.5 liters of milk. Baba feigned anger. Remember, feigned anger. Because Adi Shankaracharya, one great master in the 18th century of India, has said, whose father he, whose mother, whose friend or foe is he, who is but one. If he is the only one, with whom could he get angry? With himself only. But all this is Leela, the beauty of God acting in his creation. So Baba feigned anger, got down from his bed, and he said, you did not want to give me the milk. You should have told me openly that I can't give it to you, that is for my family. And the matter would have ended. But why did you lie to me? And Baba gave him a tight smack. Now remember what I told you. Here is a man, lean and thin as a sugarcane stalk. And here is a giant of a man. He was hurled against the wall. And the wall was not like this. It was a stone wall, very rough and all. And something protruding from that wall struck him exactly where the pain was. And Patil was saying to himself in his heart of hearts, from now on I will have no sleep at all. But the Lord in his own infinite manner had completed the surgery. From that day the pain was gone. And this is God. It is totally impossible to describe him. How can it, and if a finite being, try and describe the infinite? Some of the most beautiful examples of God and his infinity are this, my beloved Lord, Jesus. When the Jews wanted to trap him, in the war of words, they tell him, Moses has given us orders that if a woman is caught in adultery, we should stone her to death. What sayest thou? They wanted to trap Jesus in that. If he denies the order of Moses, then they would say, hey, you broke the order of Moses. And that would be enough excuse to kill him. They did not know his God himself. So very smilingly and very gently he says to them, those amongst you who is without sin, let him throw the first stone at me. Another incident was when they wanted to trap him before Pontius Pilate, the governor of the Roman Empire. And the Jews, the scribe and the Pharisees said to Jesus, you declare yourself to be the king of the Jews. If you are the king of the Jews, should we pay our dues to Caesar? And he took the coin of that age, held it in his hand, and he said to them, render unto Caesar that which belongs to Caesar. Render unto God that which belongs to God. And this is God. I mean, beyond our capacity to praise him. Beyond our capacity to praise him. Let us go to Meherabad now. Right here, where we have this small village called Arangaon. At Meherabad, where you will be visiting tomorrow, there is a village about 1 kilometer away known as Pimplegaon. And beloved Baba was residing there at Meherabad at that time. And this was after the 2 accidents. Baba had become totally handicapped. And each morning he would be carried from his bedroom to the monthly hall where the Lord would hold his bath, his court. One day a village lady, elderly village lady came up. She was typically an Indian woman who had never seen the inside of a classroom. What I am trying to convey is that She had no education whatsoever. And she was looking here and there and everywhere. And Manija, beloved Baba's sister, was in the garden plucking flowers. And she realized that this woman is totally new to the environment. Manija approached her and she said to her, Mother, what is it you want? And she said, I want a darshan of Mehr Baba, a glance of Mehr Baba. And Manija said, I'm sorry, but Mehr Baba is in seclusion and he doesn't give darshan to anyone. And she said to her, look, I am not an educated woman. I don't have any questions to ask. There is nothing at all I want from you. All I know is that my time has come. And before I go away from this world, I would like to see my beloved God with his human eyes. And the depth of her love and intensity was so great, Mani was touched by that. And she said, okay, then tomorrow you come here by 7:30, 7:45. Mehr Baba will be carried from his bedroom to the Mandli hall, where the Lord will hold his court. So as he is going by, you can have his darshan. And she said, that is all I want. I want nothing more. Next morning, Shiv sure was there, waiting for him. Beloved Baba was brought out of his bedroom. He sat on that chair to be carried to the Mandli hall. Only problem was that he had covered his face completely with a bath towel. And Mani said to herself, I call this old lady for Baba's darshan, for darshan which she had. He has completely covered his face. Even Mani, his sister, forgot who he is. As beloved Baba was hardly 3 feet away from that woman, he removed that towel, looked at her, and gave her a smile. And then the woman was in tears. That one final wish of her to behold God with his human eyes was completed. And after 2 or 3 months, the news came, she had gone. What a beautiful death it was. This is God. Again and again, the final word, this is God. There can be no one else. Let us try and go over to some other example. Like for instance, Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha was the very embodiment of compassion and love. And in India, there is a place called Varanasi. It's a very holy place for the Hindus. And there was a Brahmin there who was a Brahmin in the true sense of the term. He loved God. He taught people how to approach God and all that. And such people always are suffering. They are always poor and all that. And this Brahmin was no exception to that rule. He was starving all the time. Many a times he had begged God for just a second before it gets too cold. I can stand my lunch and dinner cold. On my ship I'll have only 2 things. Hot tea and hot tea or coffee. Unfortunately this was cold.
Here comes hot tea.
I'm only joking.
No, it is tea.
Remember one thing, I have a habit of joking all the time.
Send it over Sam.
And that's why people love me. That even at the age of 83, this man has the capacity to laugh and joke. Anyway, what was that thing?
You were looking for some hot tea, and here it is.
Varanasi.
The Brahman of Varanasi, yes. He would always pray to God.
Hot tea right there.
No, not for me. No.
Me?
No. I have a dinner. Remember, I spent 30 years at sea, not drinking tea. It was whiskey and soda.
I'll drink to that.
Anyway, one night that Brahmin had a dream that go to Buddha Gaya. There you will come across a man by the name of Gautam Siddhartha Buddha. He is the one who will help you in your financial difficulties, your poverty. He will help you out of that. He told his wife next morning, I've dreamt like this, what do you think I should do? And the wife suggested, well, after all, we are starving. Why not give it a try and see what's happening? His wife said, why not give it a try? And she gave him some food on the way and all. And after nearly 10-15 days, he reached Ahmednagar. It was a very beautiful spot in the forest, greenery everywhere. A very handsome, divinely beautiful human being was sitting, leaning against the tree, surrounded by the people around. And this Brahmin approached him. And Lord Buddha said, yes, brother, what is it you want? And he narrated the whole thing, that I had a dream, and that I was told that one, Siddhartha Gautam Buddha will help me out, and you are that man. And Lord Gautam Buddha said, you came all the way just on the strength of a dream? You can see what I have, a begging bowl and a staff, that is all I have. How could I ever help you? How could I ever help you? I myself am a beggar. He didn't say that he was a divine beggar. Anyway, he made him sit down, gave him something to drink, food and all, and then he told him, I'm sorry, my friend. I myself am poor. I cannot solve your problem. This is all the beauty of God, how He works in His creation. Then he said, now you go. As he was leaving, now that place was very close to a river bank. Lord Buddha called him quickly, come here, come here, come here. And he says to that man, that Brahmin, thank God I remember. 4 or 5 years back, I was going through this place when I came across a philosopher's stone. Philosopher's stone is a mythical stone which turns base metal into gold. I didn't need it, so I buried it under the tree near the bank of the river. If it is still there, you can have it. So the Brahmin went there and dug up, and sure enough was that philosopher's stone. And in 1 second, from a poor man, he had turned into a multimillionaire. And he went berserk with joy. He began to jump and dance and scream and yell with joy. Couldn't control that, the intense feeling that was there. He remained in that state for about 2 hours and became totally exhausted. And then he fell down, exhausted, by the bank of the river. And now better sense prevails. And this Brahmin tells himself in his heart of heart, there sits a poor man with nothing else but a begging bowl and a staff. And without blinking a single eyelid, he has given me infinite wealth. What does it mean? And the Brahmin says to himself, it means only one thing. He must be in possession of some wealth which is far, far greater than this wealth. He got up, he picked up the philosopher's stone, threw it in the river and came back to Lord Buddha. And Lord Buddha said, now what's your problem? And he said, one who himself is a beggar, without a blinking of an eye, gives me infinite wealth, must be in possession of some wealth which is far, far greater than this wealth. I've come for that wealth. And Lord Buddha said, the voice in your dream was none other but me. Your time has come. Sit down. The path to God requires 3 basic requirements. The right time, the right place, and the right words. If these 3 coincide, then you are on the path. If they don't coincide, then you are lost. There is a very beautiful story of a Sufi master by the name of Abu Sa'id Abul Khair. Very angry, something like our John the Baptist. Yeah. So, His disciples were there. And he would always run his ashram, his retreat, on a shoestring, meager food and all that. And every Friday, the retreat was open for the general public like us, inquisitive, without any knowledge of the past. Just let's pass our time. It happens here even today. I've seen people come here with the idea of some Meherabad Samadhi is here. Come on, let's go and see what it is. Like that. On one occasion, a very funny incident had happened. At that time, I was young and I could walk properly. Lazy evening, I would go to the Samadhi. Today, my feet are finished. So I was going up the Samadhi when two people were ahead of me. And they were talking to each other. They were Indian. And I was understanding what they were talking. And that was the divinity. So one man is asking the other man, hey, what's the significance of this divinity? He was totally new. And the other man was also hardly knew anything about beloved Baba. So the answer he gave made me laugh. The man he tells that other man, Meher Baba is a Parsi, a Zoroastrian, and Zoroastrians worship fire. That is why the Whereas Meher Baba has explained to us very clearly that when I came as Lord Zoroaster, I did not give you fire as an object of worship. Fire is a pure element. If you put a lump of cow dung into it, it will burn it and turn it into pure ash. If you put sandalwood in it, it will burn it and turn into pure ash. But the fire would never get contaminated, either by the good or the bad. Similarly, in this world of duality, we will come across both good and evil. Do not get these are beloved Baba's words, not mine. Do not get contaminated by the evil, but like fire, burn it, purify it, and raise it to a higher level. That is what Baba explained. Again, I forget the name.
The Sufi.
Now, let us go to Lord Buddha again. Another beautiful story linked with our beloved. Remember, Lord Buddha is nothing, no one but our beloved Baba. So, Lord Buddha had a cousin by the name of Nandi. Nandi loved Buddha very much, and he wanted to be his disciple. Lord Buddha originally came from an aristocratic royal family, but he renounced everything. Nandi approached his cousin and said to him, kindly make me your disciple. And Lord Buddha said, okay, follow me. So he began to follow Lord Buddha. And Lord Buddha would be wandering all over the place. And he had given him certain disciplines for the path. Now, only problem was that Nandi had a very beautiful wife. And at night he would remember her. And he would, his mind, he couldn't concentrate and all. So he told one of his co-brothers, I don't think this path is for me. I remember my wife, I love her very much. Tomorrow I'll go back to my palace. Lord Buddha knew everything. So next morning he called up his cousin brother Nandi and he said, now sit down before me. Don't do anything except looking at me. Don't do anything. And Nandi kept looking at Lord Buddha, and all of a sudden the whole scene changed. The beautiful forest area was gone, and a little distance away there was a beautiful palace. And Lord Buddha is telling Nandi, this palace is yours. Go and see it. This palace is yours. It was a palace that he had never even dreamt of, walls studded with precious jewels and things like that. Even as Lord Buddha is telling him that this palace is yours, about 50 to 100 very beautiful ladies came out of the palace. And Nandi could hear the voice of his cousin brother telling him, all these women are yours, Nandi. Now honestly tell me, how does their duty compare with your wife? And Nandi says to Lord Buddha, now don't talk about my wife, please. And Lord Buddha said, all of them are yours. Now do one thing. Follow the discipline that I've given you and I promise you that this will all be given to you. And Lord Buddha told him, here, give me your hand, I'm giving you a promise. And Lord Buddha gave him the promise. And now there was, a drive behind it. A beautiful palace on one hand and 100 beautiful ladies. What more one could want. So, slowly and steadily he progressed. Till one fine day, the only desire left in his heart was to sit at the lotus feet of his brother. He had no other desire left. So he came to Lord Buddha and said, Lord Buddha, I've come to you to free you from your palace. Promise me. And Lord Buddha acted as if he did not remember and said, what promise are you talking about? And he said, you gave me the promise about that palace and that 100 beautiful ladies. Oh, you want some more? What? No. All I want is to remain at your lotus feet and nothing more. And Lord Buddha said, well, fair enough. Then you free me from that promise. He said, yes. Okay. Now carry on with your discipline and I'll take care of your progress on the path. As Nandi was leaving the presence of his cousin brother, Lord Buddha called him, Nandi, come here, please come here. And Nandi came, and Lord Buddha smiled and said, Nandi, do you really think I was going to give you that palace and 100? This is how they... And that is the way it is done, because we are so deeply entrenched in this Maya that to get out of it is impossible, unless it literally takes our hand and leads us outside of it. Like that. Another beautiful story of a master, a humorous one, then we'll end and then my Roshan will take over. Again we come back to Abu Said Abul Khair, that hot-headed master. At that time there was one Junaid. Junaid was the head of the hierarchy of the five masters. He was the chief, like Baba has said this time, Sai Baba of Shirdi was the head of the hierarchy of the five masters. So, Hassan was a wayfarer, quite advanced wayfarer. And he was well known for his sterling character and all that. There was a rich Arab businessman who had a very beautiful slave girl. And he was wondering, with whom should I leave this beautiful girl? Because she is so beautiful, anyone and everyone would be tempted. And he realized Hassan of Basra is the only one with whom she will be safe. He told Hassan about it and Hassan said, okay, bring her to my house and leave her there, that's all. Early in the morning, Hassan was going down for his prayer when he saw this lady there. She was so beautiful that one glance and that impression then stuck in his mind. And he tried to pray to God, but the beauty of that lady did not go out of his mind. He tried for 3-4 days to be free of that problem. He couldn't do it. So he went to Junaid and he told him, this is my problem, what should I do? And Junaid said, your link is not with me. Your link is with Abu Said Abul Khair. Go to Basra from Baghdad and he will help you out. So he went there and he began to inquire, where is Abu Said Abul Khair? And the local people told him, Hassan, what are you doing? That man is a homosexual, he drinks and all that. Don't go to him. He said, okay. And he came back and he informed Junaid about it. And Junaid said, well, I'm sorry, but your link is with him only. He is the only one who will help you out. So again he went there. And again the people dissuaded him not to go. But he went. And as he approached, he saw, sure enough, a very young, beautiful child on his lap and a bottle lying next to him. And he said, yes, what the people say is correct. He is a homosexual as well as a drunk. And he was about to leave when Abu Said Abul Khair shouted, Hassan, how long are you going to travel between Basra and Baghdad all the time? So he came back to him and he explained his difficulty. And Abu Said Abul Khair said, we'll offer a prayer to God so that that impression of the lady will be completely wiped out. And sure enough, that impression was wiped out. Then Abu Sa'id Abul Khair told him, come on, it is lunchtime, have something to eat and then go. As they were eating, Hassan asked Abu Sa'id Abul Khair, Master, what is the idea behind creating a reputation like this? You know, such a dirty reputation like that. Where is the advantage of such a reputation? And Abu Sa'id Abul Khair smiled and said, Hassan, one of the advantages of such a reputation is that no rich Arab leaves his beautiful slave girl in my care. And this is good. When two young girls, a boy and a girl, are in love with each other, they know they love each other, and yet all the time they keep repeating the words, I love you, and that makes them happy. They know they are in love with each other. Similarly, our beloved likes to hear the words of praise that we offer him all the time. And this is one of the most beautiful praises that I have ever come across, which we can offer at the lotus feet of our beloved. It is in Urdu, but we'll render it in English only. The title of that praise is Salam. Salam means salutation. My salutations to him who has come to help the helpless humanity. We are helpless humanity. We can't do anything without his help. My salutations to him who has come to help the helpless humanity. My salutations to him who, though born an emperor of emperors, yet lived the life of a true fakir, a true renunciate. My salutations to him who took all the abuses of the world and in return gave them blessings only. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. This is God. My salutations to him who offered the cup of immortality even to those who considered themselves his enemies. My salutations to him in whose house there was no trace of any gold, nor of any silver. My salutations to him for whom the Mother Earth was his bedding robe and a brick was his pillow. My millionfold salutations at the lotus feet of Satchivan. This is the best description one can ever give to the word God. In India, we have a great master by the name of Swami Vivekananda. He was the first one to carry the Indian thoughts of spiritual path to the West. And Swami Vivekananda would always end his talk with this most beautiful word, which I always repeat after I have met my brothers and sisters, and at the end of the talk. And Swami Vivekananda said, if any words of wisdom have come off the lips today, they all belong to my master. Only the mistakes are mine. Only the mistakes are mine. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Sam told us the story of party. Similarly, I will tell you a story of a Baba lover by the name of Alamai Katra. The whole family loved Baba very much. And when Baba used to go to Bombay, he would visit their house and have lunch with his few disciples. That time Baba did not have many disciples. She lived in Bombay, a place called Fort area. And Kakabaria, who was beloved Baba's very close disciple, lived in the same building. She lived on the second floor and Kakabaria lived on the third floor. When Kakabaria would go to Bombay to contact mosques or spiritual people in Bombay. Baba would go down to their house and eat and be there with her. That lady, all of a sudden, she had a big lump in her breast, very hard. Her brother was a surgeon, doctor. She showed him, and the brother said that you have to remove this. It is going to harm you. But her husband, she had two small children, one a girl and a boy. And the husband was not agreeing for her to get operated. So it was going on, and Baba came to their house one day and she told Baba, what must I do? So Baba said, don't worry, everything will be fine. And one day she was sleeping by herself, and what she sees is beloved Baba entering from the front door of their house with a stretcher and a big butcher's knife-like thing. Whoa. And a basin. And it is in the dream. And then Baba comes close to her. That time Baba was not speaking, but in the dream Baba speaks to her. He opens the stretcher and Baba orders her to sleep on that stretcher. And before doing that, Baba asks her to go and get the ashes from the stove, because in olden days people used to have either coal or log stove in the house to do the cooking. So she goes and collects the ash in a saucer and leaves it on the table. That she does physically, bringing the ash in the saucer and putting it on the table. But then she was made to sleep on that stretcher. And Baba said, you need not worry, just keep taking my name. Nothing is going to hurt you. And she saw with her own eyes that Baba cut open that portion, took out the lump with his hand, put it in the basin. There was some blood come out that she dreams of. And then Baba takes the ashes from that saucer and puts it on her stitched wound. And Baba goes back through the door. The next morning when she gets up, there was no lump in her breast. And she called her brother and told him. He also examined and he also said, yes, it's gone. Then she explained to the brother what had happened. And though the brother was not believing in Baba, but then started respecting Baba. Then the husband was also convinced that Baba had done. Then what was the proof that he had come? So she said, see this saucer, there is ash in the saucer, which beloved Baba asked me to bring it from the stove. And he rubbed me after the removing of the gland. And mark of cut or anything, not a drop of blood anywhere. And she was cured. The children were small, and she wrote she wrote a letter to beloved Baba that, thank you Baba for what you have done to me, a postcard. And she posted that letter of thanks to beloved Baba. But by the time must have gone into the post box, she already received a postcard from beloved Baba that what I have done to you, you should not tell people around. But we were very close to the family, so she had told me this story herself. And her son, eventually, when he became big man, he worked in the bank, and later on he became the head of the Bombay Baba Center. He served till he died to the Baba Center. His name was Dara Katra.
And what was her name?
Her name was Alamai Katra. Alamai Katra. So જોઈએ છે. And when I used to go to see her, I would tell her my Baba stories, and we would both enjoy each other's stories. She would not let me go anywhere else, but she would feed me every time I went to her house. And once she said to me that Baba had said that he is feeling like eating kheer. Kheer is what? Semolina, cooked in milk with sugar, and we add sliced almonds and raisins and some acids in it. It's very yummy. He wanted to eat kheer and puri. So she thought Baba will come with one or two at the most Baba people. And so she had prepared just enough for them. And there were only 10 puris made. Puris are very small, chapati-like thing, but they are fried. So Baba came as usual. He had his meal, very simple meal. Baba, the best thing that beloved Baba liked it was plain dal and rice with coconut chutney, sweet and sour, with lemon and sugar and salt and garlic. Very tasty. Anyway, so he had his simple meal and then says, bring me my kheer and puri. And she brought, and there were 4 or 5 other Baba lovers. Means Baba's mandli with him. And Baba says, have you got more of this? So she says, no Baba, I'm sorry. You told me you are coming. You didn't tell me that you are coming with so many people. So Baba tells her, do you think I could eat that kheer and puri with all these eyes glaring at me? So she said, Baba, I'm very sorry, very sorry. Baba said, all right. Now what you do is, don't look at anybody's face, but take one puri, put kheer on it and hand it over to the person. And at last, then you serve me. So once they all eat, I won't get devil's eye. So she did that, and you won't believe the puris wouldn't become less. They remained 10 puris in the plate. And that kheer which was prepared, also the level did not go down. And then she put everything in front of beloved Baba, and Baba broke the puri and dipped it into that kheer and had it as much as he wanted. And the remaining, Baba said, now you give it to the children and your husband and yourself. And she said, I couldn't believe myself that it lasted for so many people, and then it was just the same amount remained.
It's the loaves and fishes.
Pardon?
The loaves and fishes. Jesus with the loaves and fishes, remember?
Loaves and
In the
fishes.
Bible, they only had a few loaves and a few fish, and he fed
Many people.
everybody. Same story.
So it is Baba's Leela, which happens to very few close Baba people. Yes. Once beloved Baba had come to Pune in Vindra house, and Baba said, I'm coming with 7-8 people and I'm going to eat lunch. And there was music program in Vindra house. The Kawal had come and everything was in a swing. When lot of Baba people of Pune came and sat down. You see, when people used to come to Baba, and if it was lunchtime, Baba would tell us to give food to everybody. And Gai Mama and Manpur had prepared the food just for few people. So Gai Mama, when she saw the number of people getting increased, she tells Manpur, the food won't be enough for so many people. You better cook some more dal and rice. So she was sitting, Mama was sitting on one side of beloved Baba and Manu was sitting on the other side of Baba and listening to the music. And Manu sneaked out and went in the kitchen, took out some more dal, washed it and put it for cooking, and some rice also. And then when she returned, Baba asked, where have you been? No, Baba, I was just taking care, everything is fine. Is that so? She should have said to Baba that I went and kept some more food on the stove. But she said nothing about that.
Before that, Baba had ordered them, don't worry, everything will be all right. Don't cook anything more. Just leave everything exactly as it is.
So now the food first starts smelling good. Then when it starts burning, it smells horrible. And when it gets charcoal, it's terrible. And Baba says, what is this smell? What is the smell coming? Oh, then Manpur has to tell Baba. Baba, Mama told me to do it. Baba, I didn't do it on my own. Mama told me to do it. So I went and put some more dal and rice. Baba said, said, didn't I tell you that everything will be enough? You don't have faith in me? Do you think I am not God? Baba, as usual, scolded them. But then, that food was so horrible, all charcoal, that not even a goat would touch it. And then Baba started giving out food himself. And it was enough for all of them, plus it was enough for Gaimai, Manpur and the servants who were in the Bindra house. And then Baba said, see, it was enough. You need not have gone and made more. Okay, I forgive you. And the Kawal singing was over and they all ate the lunch. And after that, I think Baba must have rested and then gone back, either to Meherabad or to Satara or wherever he wanted to go. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba.
Who is Manpur?
Manu, Erich's sister.
Erich's sister, is it Meherabad?
Yeah.
Manu?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She was called, there were 3 Manis in the ashram.
Uh-huh.
One Mani was from Navsari,
Uh-huh.
so she was called Mansari.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Manu was from Nagpur, who had come to stay in the ashram. So she was called Manpur from Nagpur. And Baba's sister was called Mani. So if Baba asked for any money, so to differentiate them from each other, that is why they were called in different ways. But the name is Mani. Yes.
Just one last humorous incident from of our beloved. Beloved Baba was in Guru Prasad, Pune. Now Guru Prasad belonged to Shanta Devi, the Queen of Baroda. You know, during the British period, India was divided into small states, and Baroda was one of the richest states ever. And Guru Prasad was the palace. Very beautiful. There are pictures of that palace, and there is an approach from the main gate to the palace, which must be at least 80 meters long. And on either side, there were statues, beautiful statues. And one statue was that of a female carrying a tray. And there used to be water in that tray for the chipmunks and the birds and all that. One afternoon when there was no activity at all, Baba was sitting on the veranda with his sister Manija standing by. And beloved Baba casually asked his sister, Mani, is there water in that tray? Now Mani, presuming that water is always there, said, yes, Baba, water is there. And all the day there. After about half an hour he said, Mani, is there water in that tray? And again Mani said, yes, Baba, water is there. After half an hour, third time he asked her, Mani, is there water in that tray? And then she became a bit alert, there's something wrong somewhere. She went and checked over, there was not a drop of water in that tray. She instructed the gardener to fill up the tray and came back. And beloved Baba, with a smile and a twinkle in his eyes, tells his sister, Mani, very boldly you declare to the world that your brother is God in human form. And yet, without the least bit of hesitation, you bluff before me? You think I didn't know there was no water in that tray? No words can ever describe the beauty of God. No words at all. No words at all. My Jesus, Father, forgive them. They know not what to do. Always love, compassion, mercy. These are His qualities. Always, always. And that is why we survive. God was something like Adolf Hitler, then things would have been much easier. Jai Baba.